Hello, friends, and welcome once again to Legalbiz Cafe. I am your host, attorney Shaune B. Arnold, and tonight we're going to do it all wrong, and yet we're going to get it all right. But before we go figuring it out, I want to talk to you for just a moment about what we are doing here on Legalbiz Cafe. You see, we are dealing with your mindset as an entrepreneur. I've been a business consultant for 30 years and a business attorney for 20 of those 30 years, and I find over and over again that my clients are constantly dealing with issues that go thump in your head. They leave you feeling confused and they leave you feeling insecure. But here on Legalbiz Cafe, we give you some of the answers to some of the difficult questions that are posed by these issues. Questions like, why am I doing this? Is this even going to work? And my all-time favorite, how did I get myself into this mess? Yes, we answer these questions and many more on Legalbiz Cafe, so let's get started doing it all wrong until we get it all right. You know, it has often been said that anything that's worth doing is worth doing well, and I completely agree if you can do it well. But there is something to be said for the good old-fashioned college try when you are basically clueless. I mean, seriously, what do you have to lose? My mentor, Les Brown, has a really interesting take on this subject, and he says that anything that's worth doing is worth doing badly until you learn how to do it well. And, you know, I think that he's absolutely right, because if you are willing to do something badly until you're able to do it well, then you are not going to get stuck sitting on your hands. See, a lot of people won't even try something that they suspect that they won't be good at. But seriously, how many people jump on a skateboard for the first time and just sail down the street? I mean, without screaming and hitting cars and all of these other things. It's a learned skill. Remember learning to ride a bike? I know I sure do. You know, I used to aim for our neighbor's ivy that was right at the curb because I knew that it would break my fall. And that was my go-to spot when I needed to learn how to stop my bike until a mouse came running out one day. Yeah. Okay, so I don't really do ivy right about now, but it was worth it. It was worth it because one day, one magical day, I got on my bike and I sailed down the street. So what is it that you are afraid to try? You know, the funny thing about being that scaredy cat is that eventually you are going to look back on that time and you're going to feel kind of silly. You will. I promise you. Why, you ask? Because your competence increases as you learn how to get it right. Absolutely. So think back over your life. How many times were you in a completely new circumstance? And how many times were you afraid? Okay, here's the really good question. Did you act in spite of the fear? Did you go ahead and take that challenge on? And now, as you look back over all of those first-time moments that you've had in your life, how do you feel about it? You feel pretty strong, right? That's right. See, we have a tendency to only look forward when we're judging ourselves on how we're doing. So I encourage you to do that. Think back over, say, the last 5 years and compare yourself today with what you were doing 5 years ago. I bet you've made some strides. I bet you've made some progress. And if you haven't made any strides or progress, if you are sitting still, then perhaps it's because you're afraid of doing it all wrong. I invite you to marinate for just a bit in the feeling of accomplishment when you took on that task that just had you nervous and tied up in knots. Think about it. Really marinate in it for a minute. Don't just throw the accomplishment over your shoulder like a chicken bone. Really examine what you didn't know how to do, and then think about what you had to do in order to learn it. How long did it take you? And what got you in the long run where you are now as a result of learning that new skill? What did it get you? Now, think about how brave you were when you took on that bold new task. So how about it? Are you feeling kind of froggish now? Are you ready to leap? I think that's awesome. See, I believe that the only thing worse than not getting started on your journey is to just quit. To just quit on your own potential. I know a little something about that. I grew up playing musical instruments, the piano and the clarinet. Trust me, both of the instruments were chosen for me. And I hated that clarinet. I wanted to play the flute like all the popular girls did, but my sister played the flute. And my folks didn't want us competing with one another. So they chose the clarinet. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what a clarinet was when they chose it for me. It was huge. It was long. It was awkward. It was not a flute. And let me tell you something. I tried to quit. I tried to quit the clarinet so many times. I begged my parents to let me off the hook, but my folks wouldn't let me quit. They said over and over again, no matter how many times I screamed and cried, winners never quit, and quitters never win. Yeah, that's tough. It's a really tough row to hoe. But I invite you to really think about where you are in that process. Is that happening to you? I say, well, winners don't play clarinet. Okay, my parents were unpersuaded by that. I did, however, wind up playing that clarinet from the 4th grade until I got out of high school. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. I was in school orchestra. I was in all-city band. I was pretty good at the clarinet. The whole 9 yards. The whole time, I hated that instrument. Now, I'm absolutely not advocating that you do something that you hate just for the exercise of doing something, because life is just too short for that. But, baby, let me tell you something. Today, I'm like a dog with a bone when I have to do something. I am so glad that my parents took that attitude, that winners never quit and quitters never win. At this point in my life, there is absolutely no quitter in me. None. I find that if I start something, I am absolutely going to finish it. Even if when I start something, I'm doing it all wrong. You have to release your ego in cases like these. You have to just keep going. Don't worry about what other people are going to say about you. Don't worry if you're going to look silly. If you feel like you need coaching, find somebody who's really good at what you want to do. Get that coaching that you need and hone your skills. Get really good at it. But be okay with doing it all wrong. Because I know that sooner or later, you are going to do it all right. I promise you. So, take it on, whatever that challenge is, and do it all wrong until you can do it all right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Legalbiz Cafe. I invite you to follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And in all of those places, my moniker is Shaune Arnold. My first name is spelled S-H-A-U-N-E. Again, Shaune Arnold. And you have a particular question on your mindset or on your business, or if you are looking for some of that coaching to get you past that rough spot so you don't quit, so that you lean in, and so that you are okay with doing it all wrong until you can do it all right. I am your host, attorney Shaune B. Arnold, and I am reminding you, as always, to maximize your competence, to get the confidence you need to succeed. I will see you right here again on our next episode of Legalbiz Cafe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.